Yo! Video games.
What up, dudes, and welcome back to the YoVideogames podcast. I'm Matt.
And I'm Andrew.
And once again, thank you to all our generous patrons who've kept us going for over 350 episodes.
Yeah, 353. Thank you so much. If you're interested in becoming a patron at any level, please check out patreon.com/YoVideogamespodcast. Dude of the week is Jason C. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Dude, for a long time now. I also, really quick, before we jump into the other sponsor, wanted to give a shout out to Stars Episode 2. For those of you that know, Mike and I have been working on a web series involving Resident Evil lore, and we just released episode 2 last Friday. So check it out on youtube.com/cosblade, COSBLADE, youtube.com/cosblade. I think I'm saying that right.
Yeah.
I never really thought about saying that word out loud. But
now it just happened.
So please check that out. But as always, we've got a sponsor to thank. And as you know, it's almost free ball fall. And that's a harder phrase to say than you might think, but it's the perfect time to check out the Performance Package 4.0, specifically the Lawnmower 4.0, which is a favorite of ours, and of course, the ball deodorant, which I am now running low on.
Yeah.
The Crop Preserver.
Yeah, well, we're getting there, aren't we?
Look, I mean, summer was making me sweat my balls off. I'm glad I had the stuff. But also another good thing to check out would be the Boxers 2.0. Those are our 3 favorite products from Manscaped, although literally all of their stuff is good. And the Performance Package comes with the Shed, which is their little tote. It's a really good travel tote, DOP kit.
Yeah.
So if you're in the market for a DOP kit, you can get it all in one package, and it'll come with an ear and nose hair trimmer, which works fantastic.
Yeah, but, there's other stuff too. Like I've been using the shampoo and body wash as well. If you ever want to just kind of like look around what else they have.
You trying to flex on me? You trying to brag? Huh?
No, I'm just adding.
Trying to say,
hey, if you want your ball sack, to look like it did when you were a baby, they also have a razor to really give you that straight up hairless ET look.
The ultra smooth package. I use the conditioner on my chest hair. That's what I use it for. They also have a spray, which I just realized I have on my desk, and I take it traveling and stuff. But they have like a body spray of the same scent as the Crop Preserver. So if you're not into massaging cream into your balls, the Crop Preserver, or the name is the Hydrating Body Spray, is same scent. Same. But if you're interested, yeah.
I was just saying, if you want your balls to smell as good as your body spray, you should check them out because we use them and we like it.
If you want the rest of your body to smell as good as your balls, use the body spray as like an invitation. Or balls also main event, I guess. But if you're interested in checking out any products from Manscaped, please head over to manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping worldwide using our code YoVG, all caps. That's code YoVG, all caps, at manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping worldwide. Your balls will thank you.
It was a big day today.
It was, honestly, it was kind of a surprise. I didn't...
Well, there was no official publicly, Nintendo just shows up, Monday morning, we're going to have something in 24 hours. And then later in that afternoon, Sony's 24 hours from us in the afternoon and the next day. So with 24-hour heads up, we basically were told big Nintendo Direct and then a Sony State of Play.
Yeah.
Same day. Luckily not same time, actually kind of pretty far apart, 7 a.m. and 3 p.m. So they're spaced pretty well, and Sony's was only half as long as Nintendo's. So
did they do that on? Do you think they communicated like that, or just worked out that way?
No, not at all.
This is for TGS, right?
Yes.
Okay, because I was going to say, what did someone bring E3 to fall? Is that what?
Yeah,
happened?
right. No, it's for TGS.
I do think it's amazing that Sony State of Play was like 11 minutes long or some shit, and then the Nintendo
20.
Direct was
Short.
an hour long. It was
Well,
forever long.
here's the thing: like Nintendo didn't have a big summer direct like they usually do.
You think they all pushed it all back into this?
You know, I've heard stuff, and there's a lot of speculation, and basically, kind of like, I'll say this: to my understanding, it was not particularly the thing Nintendo wanted to happen the way it did, but it did.
Oh, okay.
It's in the end though, it's fine, I think, because I mean, there was like a third party, so like a small third party Nintendo Direct, and there was the big Xenoblade 3 Direct, which is all I personally gave a shit about. Which is gonna, yeah, I mean, to be honest, to be fair, I think there was actually a lot of fun announcements here. I think there was a lot of good stuff shown. I don't personally care about any of this stuff as much as I cared about Xenoblade 3. So the fact that Nintendo's only their quote unquote E3 thing was just a direct on Xenoblade 3 was, for me, I was living in a bubble of just like, I don't fucking care.
You were just very happy.
I'm just like, oh, they're only going to talk for an hour about Xenoblade 3. Yeah, what's wrong with that? Like, who gives a fuck about the rest of whatever you like?
So, I'm getting a fucking buffet, man. I don't know what you're hungry about.
I'm getting the buffet. I don't care. So it was like, it was
I was oddly excited for Tales of Symphonia Remaster from this, by the way. Where like I was immediately like, oh.
Except it's based on the PS3 version, which is based on the PS2 version, which is half the frame rate. But
right, yeah, it's nowhere near as good as the GameCube version.
And I don't think it has 4-player, unless they're adding it back in for remastered, because I believe the PS2 one was just 2-player. So
rough. They want to get you all excited to make you disappointed. They did the same thing with the GoldenEye announcement.
Kind of,
where like apparently it's 4-player online. Right, but then of course, it's Nintendo's online, so it sucks.
On Switch, so it sucks. Unless you're able to like kind of like verify, like there's like a very small number of people I can verify I can connect with, and it works. And then a lot of other people are like, does not work at all. Most other people, it does not work at all. But anyways, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's run it down. Nintendo had a big direct, finally, I guess, to appease a bunch of people. We started with Fire Emblem Engage, which I kind of snickered at that one. Like, engage, yeah, like engage the enemy, engage combat, or engage your waifu. Because I'm like, this is clearly a double entendre, isn't it? Right? Like, it has to be. And
you're finally gonna punch the ticket and get married. So
this
in this game?
Actually hella leaked. Actually,
right,
months ago, someone had literally had screenshots from a dev unit on it. It's being made by the Gust branch of Koei Tecmo. It's being made by the Atelier people. Totally looks like it. The main character looks like a fucking VTuber.
Isn't that the joke going around? Is that a VTuber is who did the animations or something like that? Is the meme that's going around?
Well, I mean, like the main character looks like a VTuber. It looks like a VTuber character model.
Right.
I've heard Aquafresh, Colgate, all kinds of.
That's fucked up.
I mean, it's Gust, so they're very, okay. Do you know what? Okay, will it make any sense when I say it's anime in a very kawaii moe style?
Okay.
Does that make any sense to you, Andrew?
Big eyes, like big eyes over emotive.
Over emotive, very much on the cutesy side of things.
Yeah, okay. I'm kind of picking up what you're dropping.
It's not Cowboy Bebop.
Correct.
So because it's the Gust developers and they make all those like super like cutesy girl mixing potion RPGs, the Atelier series, which part 3 was announced in this direct as well. You could kind of tell because like the dialogue, the characters' animations were definitely a little bit more on the moe, moe blob side. Which I guess if you're a fan of that, whatever, great, cool.
Wind Waker's your favorite game.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Whatever.
Wind Waker's a perfectly fine game.
Interestingly enough, so like the big hook of this game is that you can summon like spirits of main character Fire Emblem game characters from old Fire Emblem games. Like they showed that and teased that, and they showed Marth in it, but they also showed like Lynn and Micaiah or whatever her name was from GameCube Fire Emblem. So it's like, okay, so the idea here is that you're actually going to be able to like pull spirits of all Fire Emblem characters from all across all the different Fire Emblem universes or whatever. And it's weird. I've seen the response online has been kind of mixed about this, where some people feel like it's really pandering and feels kind of like.
Have they just not played Fire Emblem before?
Well, I mean, because it's like it's kind of like, oh, it's like being multiverse, but like not. Where it's like, oh, the characters aren't meeting. You just you get to pull. So I think people are saying that like, hey, this feels like a really cheap mobile cash grab, where it's like, yeah, it's Fire Emblem, and the hook of it is like you try to like snag your favorite Fire Emblem character from a game and storyline and universe that's completely disconnected to the one in this game.
Right.
Oh,
like they're not confident in this game, so they're making sure you have a way to bring in the characters that you like.
Yeah, maybe that's maybe that's what it is. I don't really know.
Or like you get to play as them.
It seemed more like a summon.
Okay. Because
maybe you could summon them and put them in like your army unit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Every now and then I get confused about Fire Emblem because my thought was Fire Emblem's a strategy game.
It is.
Like a tactics game.
Yeah, it is.
But then every time I see trailer for it, like they make it look like an action game.
Kind of true. I get what I see what you're saying there. Yeah, they are kind of like emphasizing, attack animations and like less and less and less about like the actual strategy elements and more about everything else.
Right. I keep getting tempted to try it because again, it's tactics and I like that kind of stuff.
I mean, look, I'm not. I played and beat 3 Houses. It's good. It's a good game.
Yeah.
It's kind of on the easier side, as far as like tactical strategy turn-based RPGs go.
I'm old now. I love easy.
Well, I'm just saying, like you got Tactics Reborn coming, so
I am actually looking forward to that. And if Advance Wars 1 and 2 ever gets unbanned,
I think that might be dead because that did not show up here at all.
Yeah, you think that's like soft canceled?
It might be.
They just quietly were like, well, the war in Ukraine's not going away.
So what the funny thing was is before, like, when I was making my bingo card for this, I was like, well, maybe they'll quietly just sort of like drop it because they're like, hey, war's going well for Ukraine.
Such a bummer. It's such a bummer. I want that game.
Yeah, I feel for Advance Wars people because like this sucks, man. Like it's literally done and there's nothing anyone can do about it.
Gross.
Yeah. Yeah, so a lot of other smaller stuff. A
lot of farming sims.
Yeah, that was the big takeaway. Everyone was like, "Holy shit, is there so many farming sims?" I got a Xenoblade 3 DLC update. That made me happy.
My big takeaway from both of these really is that it really feels like, and it's always like this. This is a normal thing, but like it really feels like they're 2 years behind the trend. Right?
Yeah, because with all the farming stuff, it's like, bro, Stardew Valley is old now. Animal Crossing came out 2 years ago.
Well, it's like they saw Animal Crossing killing it, and they're all like, let's get more of that wholesome shit out there. And it's like, yeah, but you're 2 years late.
Yeah.
Like, you're really far behind. And not to jump over to Sony too much, but like, the, what was it called? Rise of the Ronin? Is like, it looks cool. It does. I'm down with it. But at the same time, it does feel like it's 2 years late.
And 2 years away from release.
Yeah, it just feels like it's really behind the 8 ball on that one. But anyway, like I felt that about a bunch of stuff, and I made some notes, but I think there's a lot, because a lot of people are shitting on this, but I think there's a lot in both presentations to look forward to. Like there's cool shit. But I do sort of feel like, I don't know, they packed all this in here so that we wouldn't pay as much attention to some of the more bleh.
I mean, that's just strategy, right?
Right, but I've never, there's been other directs, but every direct hasn't There's never been a direct that feels like they were trying to skate over some of their less exciting stuff by packing it all in.
Well, I think it's like, like one of the people in my chat, Zyber, he was saying this, like, yeah, there were 5 sizzle reel moments,
Right,
like,
yeah.
which is interesting. It's like, okay, that's a really good point because like they had like just It Takes Two is coming to Switch, Tunic's coming to Switch, Ib is
Right.
coming to Switch, like just like yeah,
Tunic,
cool, whatever.
Tunic is out elsewhere already, right?
Yeah, it's on
just,
Game Pass.
yeah, it's finally coming to Switch. That's right.
Yeah, just finally coming to Switch kind of thing. So, I one of the big-ish new announcements was Octopath Traveler 2,
Right.
which is cool, and they're announcing like, hey, we crossed 3 million sales on Octopath. I mean, it's on Game Pass, so fucking better have crossed 3 million.
Well, are they counting downloads on Game Pass as sales?
I would assume so.
No, there's no way they're doing that.
Why wouldn't they?
That doesn't make sense as a sale, though.
I don't know. Well, they're getting paid by Microsoft.
Per download?
Probably some residual
No,
per
fuck
download.
no. That's not how that works. If it's built like the Netflix model, it's a license. Yeah, it's a flat license for a certain amount of time. Yeah.
Hey, I'll give you this much money to put it on Game Pass for this long.
Yeah, it's a flat license. And the way Microsoft and they come to an
Square
agreement
would go for that.
Yes, because what Square will do is argue a higher amount of people will download it. And so, like, the way they come up with the licensing, the way they come up with the licensing is how many people are going to.
You don't think it might even be a little bit of column A, column B? Like, here's a rate, and then we'll pay you X amount more per download. Like at the we'll, if within these 3 months, 6 months, whatever. Like if it gets this many downloads, we'll pay more.
I'm by no means an expert on this. I'm just saying from Microsoft's point of view, actually from everyone involved, a license agreement makes sense. Like trying to do per download, sort of, yeah, it sucks too bad if it goes bad, and it fucks Microsoft too hard if it ends up popular. It's just kind of like there's too much risk to be bad. Now, granted, maybe Square has a big enough dick where they can say like, okay, the license agreement, but also once it hits over this certain amount of downloads, you have to give us a bonus, that kind of thing. They could do that, but I don't understand why they would do a per download payment system.
Speaking of Square Enix and disasters, what was not here, it came out early this morning. Do you remember a game called Babylon's Fall?
Yes.
You remember that it's a live services title?
Yeah, we talked about it pretty extensively, like, I don't know, a year ago now.
Yeah, well, they're ending the service for the game.
Okay.
In February. So they're really doing that one player on Steam dirty.
Well, I mean, really, they told you this was coming. It's called Babylon's Fall. Right.
So it didn't. On February 27th, I think was when they said the last day of service will be. They took the game off of the stores today.
Wow.
And they basically said they'll finish out. They said they're canceling all their long-term big updates. Any updates they had planned will run till the end of February. Will still go, but yeah, like it didn't make it to a year. And the game will be unplayable. Like once they take it off the store, it's off.
Yeah, because
it's live services.
Yeah,
you can't buy it anymore. And on 27th, they said they're taking the servers down and then they're deleting all game data from those servers. Like the game will cease to fucking exist and will be unplayable.
That's gross for the 15 people who bought it.
Yeah. Well, to put this in perspective and why no one cares about this, like why are more people not outraged? I'm like, because the all-time peak for the last week or month on Steam, what do you think it was, player base wise?
100,000.
Oh, I'm sorry, not all time.
Not all time. Just
not all
peak.
time. Sorry. What do you think the highest peak, like the peak, was within the last week or month?
Oh, in the last week or month, 100. Just 100 people.
Okay.
The face you're making makes it seem like I really overshot it.
A little bit. It's 11. Yesterday's peak was 5.
Oh, that is heartbreaking. Holy shit.
The all-time peak was 1,100. 1,100 was the all-time peak, and that was launch day.
I genuinely actually feel pretty friggin' bad for the developers that built it and probably were hoping people would be more excited, but that is maybe one of the funniest, just best karmic things ever. I love to see a live services game fail.
And fail it did.
It really did. You know what? It could get a Razzie Award. It failed so hard that it deserves acknowledgement. Like
Probably.
Do you think they'll learn anything from it? No.
Not at all.
No, they'll just do another one.
Square has learned nothing from this.
They'll blame the art style or there was too many Western devs involved or something. I don't know.
They're the ones who fucking wanted to go for like the big art change up that everyone hated. Oh my god, like what?
They'll find some way to make it not their fault, and then they'll try it again.
Oh yeah, definitely. 11.
That's wow, I overshot it by 10 times.
Yeah.
So what was do you have the all-time numbers, like all-time downloads?
1,100.
All-time downloads, not concurrent players. Like how many?
I mean, it's a live service game. Well, that's all-time peak as far as concurrent at one, like playing at once.
I just wanted to know how far
that
overshot.
was on launch day. You were about 10 times overshot all time.
Well, I was just thinking like maybe at least 100,000 people downloaded it to try it at some point.
Unlikely because, again, the all-time record was the launch day.
And 1,100, that's...
At 1,100 people. It never got higher than that, ever.
That's wild, that is. So, I wonder what the all-time, like, cumulatively, how many people played that game.
Keep in mind, that is just Steam.
Right.
That's not counting PlayStation.
That's
or if it even was on Xbox, but...
Genuinely heartbreaking, how bad that is. That's, wow. Okay, anyway.
Absolutely no one wanted to touch your fucking video game.
That's rough. That is.
Like, I always, like, you know, I'm always hyperbolic, where I'm like, yeah, nobody cares about this. Nobody wants this. And I'm like, no, seriously, nobody fucking played Babylon's Fall.
Genuinely this time, yeah, nobody wanted it. That's sad. That cuts deep, actually. Actually, now that I feel bad for laughing as hard as I laughed at that. It was shock, guys. It wasn't cruelty that made me laugh at that. That's...
Bro, there is no words for how abysmal that is.
It's pretty fucked up. So there's too many games in the Nintendo Direct to go down all of them. I want to know what was your big hell yeah?
I mean, Bayonetta 3 for sure.
Bayonetta 3
it was like this little snip, and they're like, we're gonna have like a full big breakdown trailer, and they did, you know, an 8-minute one after the show. But that was really more or less like describing what Bayonetta is. But it did show a bunch of new gameplay stuff, and that's great. It looks hot. It comes out in a month. I was honestly, I'm happy to see that N64 is getting continued.
Right.
But I think the selection is kind of shit.
Get the fuck out of here. It had Pilot Wings, it had fucking 1080 snowboarding. I loved that game.
I bought 1080. I like 1080 and Excitebike. I was like, yeah, that's cool. I'm happy about that. But like Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2, and okay, I owned Pokemon Stadium 1. I bought it for the transfer pack. If you understand that game, if you don't have your fucking Game Boy cartridge with your Pokemon from it,
yeah, that's gonna be
that game is like impossible to actually beat and finish.
Yeah, that's not gonna be great.
What's cool about it is that you get those multiplayer mini games will be online multiplayer, and that's pretty awesome. That's the best part about it. Excitebike's actually really good. I think Excitebike 64 is like, I think a lot of people don't know that game's actually legit.
And you get the first 3 Mario parties.
That doesn't make sense because they have Mario Party Superstars, which is granted, Mario Party Superstars is like 1 or 2 board from each one of those games. It's not the whole game.
Right.
So now we're getting the whole game of Mario Party 1, 2, and 3. And of course it will be online. But it is also kind of like, well, there goes any DLC chance for Mario Party Superstars.
Right. And but the online part is pretty fucking cool. Obviously, you've got fucking GoldenEye, of course.
GoldenEye's
GoldenEye.
the big standout. The one thing I should mention though, the Japanese store is getting Harvest Moon 64 and we are not.
Oh, well, that's heartbreaking for you, but I don't
because
give a
of a licensing dispute between the name and the publisher and blah blah blah. There's a whole fucking story behind Natsume and the name of Harvest Moon and Story of Seasons and yada yada yada. And basically, it's like it kind of just shows pointed out like, okay, well, straight up, we're just that licensing fuck up is not going to get resolved for North America, so we're probably just not getting Harvest Moon 64, which fucking sucks because that actually would have made this lineup even better
for you.
It's okay as is. And we're fucking Diddy Kong Racing. God damn it.
Yeah, but you're getting Disney Speedstorm, and that's sort of similar.
That's free to play.
Disney. It's Disney. It's Disney Kong Racing.
Disney Kong Racing. It's funny, they could have put Mickey Speedway USA from Rare on there, but they didn't. But anyways, yeah, GoldenEye's the big standout here. It's only getting online on Switch. And the version that's coming to Xbox, going to be put into Rare Replay,
right,
is an upscaled 4K version of the game, but it is not. It is not the remake that Rare completed and finished, and then had to get shelved because of licensing problems. And the one that's been leaked on the internet, and you can actually download it and play it. It's not the remaster version. It's just an upscaled version is going into Rare Replay of the N64 code. This is very bizarre. And because of that, that one does not have any online gameplay on Xbox.
That seems like a giant mistake.
Yeah, only the Switch version is going to have online gameplay. But it'll be split screen online. Like you're literally just you play, and yeah, it's your 4 friends, and you're going to be seeing where everyone is at all times because of the split screen aspect of it. It's just a ROM dump.
Okay, well that just all of that sounds bad. I'm no longer that amped for that.
I mean, you'll be able to play it if you have one of the N64 controllers like I do. I'm not that excited because it's GoldenEye, and Perfect Dark was way better than GoldenEye.
Yeah, but GoldenEye's a classic. You can't really deny that game.
Whatever. Like, it walked so Perfect Dark could run. It's like Perfect Dark is GoldenEye with a billion more modes and options. So I'm very much kind of like, who cares? Like, Perfect Dark is so much better than GoldenEye. Yeah, I don't know. It's like, hey, here's Uncharted, but not Uncharted 2. If that makes sense. Like, or we're giving you Street Fighter, but not Street Fighter 2. Like, it's not that drastically bad. People, obviously, GoldenEye is just nostalgia bait, but like, you remove your fucking self from nostalgia, and look at like the actual game of what is in GoldenEye, what is in Perfect Dark, and yes, Perfect Dark is a significantly better, more fully featured game than GoldenEye. And then the only really thing here is like, well, it's got the license, and I guess that makes sense. But I don't know. I don't like Golden. I don't like James Bond. I realized that when we went and you and me saw Spectre.
Yeah, well, Spectre was also just bad.
That's
Spectre was bad.
Well, Spectre was bad as well. If
you didn't like Casino Royale or Skyfall, then maybe you just don't like
here's
Bond.
The thing. Here's what I say. I'm like, I sit there and go, Casino Royale and Skyfall are to me the only great Bond movies.
You'd be correct.
Like the rest of them are products, like carefully curated. I've seen I've seen a Goldfinger. I've seen Thunderball.
Man with the Golden Gun. Have you seen Man with the Golden Gun?
Oh my god, with
Christopher Lee with a third nipple.
His third nipple, and he has like a little minion, played by a little person, and then like his. I love a woman in a bikini. She's got nothing to hide. Shit like this. Like,
yeah. Dr. No. I mean, you just...
No,
there's a lot of
No,
fun
like,
Bond movies, but I would agree
I
that
guess to me they're like fast food practically, where it's just like you're gonna go to a Bond movie. There's going to be a scene where someone geeks out with technology, in a lab. There's going to be a scene where we have to have a car chase scene with
oh
a
yeah,
very,
yeah,
very specifically advertised car from a particular manufacturer who's looking to sell it. We're going to have a scene where Bond's gonna like look like at his watch or like pose like a
right.
fucking Abercrombie and Finch model somewhere. We're like,
Yeah, you're gonna have a
there's
good time, is what you're saying.
there's no tension in a Bond movie until Casino Royale and Skyfall.
Yeah, I would say Casino Royale.
Casino Royale is the outlier here.
People get so
Um,
mad because I'm like Casino Royale, the Daniel Craig version of Casino Royale. It's the best Bond film.
Now the joke is a little in Family Guy is a little stretched out. It's a little stretched out. Like they could have like ended it on 1 or 2 beats earlier, but that's Family Guy. But it's kind of accurate when they did that gag of like a James Bond film. You're going to have sex with me. No, I don't want to. Yes, you do. No, I don't. Yes, you do. No, yes, you do. Okay, I do. Like that's James Bond. Like
Yeah.
I'm.
Sean Connery getting a
Let me
little
put it
handsy
this
with
way:
folk.
we saw Mission Impossible 6. I don't know whatever the one is with Henry Cavill's shotgun arms.
Yeah.
And that was like, to me, I'm like, this is the Bond movie I always wanted to see in a theater and never did.
Well, that's not fair because Mission Impossible is just like it's a different brand. Like it's got a totally different hook and shit.
That one felt like a Bond movie, and the other Mission Impossible is not as much as that one. Like they're all different in a way, but like that one was like because I think did that come out after Spectre? I think it came out after Spectre.
I don't remember off the top of my head.
I don't remember. But we saw whatever part 6 or whatever it was, Henry Cavill, the one where he fucking flies a helicopter straight into a mountain, like for real.
Yeah.
I'm like, this felt like a real Bond movie, like a real good spy Bond movie. Whereas like we saw Spectre and I was like,
well, Spectre was just a mess.
Yeah, and Quantum of Solace, I saw that with my friend in the theater too. And that movie, I was just like confused as fuck.
I rewatched it, and it's not great, but it is nowhere near as bad as I remember thinking it was when I had first seen it. But I think that is only because, in hindsight, I've seen Spectre. Spectre's not
Spectre's
good.
worse?
Spectre is not. It's just not good. It's got better action scenes and like better set pieces than Quantum of Solace, but I don't know. We're getting way sidetracked.
Here though is that I'm not that big of a fan of James Bond. I kind of find
that's fine.
Honestly, like here you go. Like if any chuds still listen to our podcast, they won't after I say this, but James Bond is the ultimate Mary Sue. Like for all the pissing and whining and shitting and moaning people do about Mary Sue's in movies today, I'm like James Bond is the epitome of a fucking Mary Sue.
Nah, what?
Yes, absolutely.
In what he fucking fails all the time. Daniel Craig's Bond gets the shit kicked out of him literally
again until we get to Casino Royale and we start having an outlier here where there's actually tension in a Bond film. Like
James Bond's wife gets killed in front of him in the beginning of one of the movies because he fails.
Definition of a fucking Mary Sue character. He's amazing at everything he does.
No.
And yes.
No, he fails and gets captured all the time. Like, he isn't amazing at everything he does. It's a running gag in Bond that he's literally terrible at playing it, like, about being subtle. Like, so he just stops worrying about it. He never uses a cover name because he's fucking bad at it.
And it doesn't matter. Like, he just
it doesn't
magically gets through everything.
But also, I don't know if I give a shit about Mary Sue characters.
You could also argue too that one Pierce Brosnan, that terrible Pierce Brosnan one, where he gets trapped in a North Korean prison for like a year.
Yeah, is that it's not Diamonds Are Forever? Tomorrow Never Dies.
Die Another Day.
Die Another Day,
or something. It's one with Halle Berry, I think. And even Pierce Brosnan was like shitting on that movie. He said like the script, we started out with a really good opening act and it really could have turned into something great. And then like movie went to shit when they went to like Iceland or Greenland or whatever. And they had the car with optic camouflage and shit. And...
Yeah. Fuck, those movies got so over the top. That's the best thing about Bond movies, though, is they get nonsensical. Like, they just get out there. It's why you have to separate the semi-grounded Daniel Craig movies from the other ones. Because the other ones are superhero movies. And then Daniel Craig's ones are Paul Greengrass spy movies.
But again, he's just not an interesting character until we kind of get to Skyfall. Like, he's... Like, they're very coy about what is his background, what is his training or whatever. Like, the most is, like, the antagonist will be a ghost from Bond's past, and that's, like, the most you get. I don't know. I do not like the character.
You're a hater. We're sidetracked, though.
I don't know. Well, it's a good sidetrack. Come on.
I'm dragging us back in because, one, you're a hater and you're hating on Bond.
I don't know. Whatever. The game's good. Don't get me wrong. GoldenEye is an absolutely fantastic game, an all-time classic, but it's eclipsed in every way, shape, and form on the same system by Perfect Dark. So,
I guess I have a nostalgia for the classics, so I'm gonna leave it alone.
Will I play it? Absolutely. Will I enjoy it? Probably. But would I? Am I as excited for it as I would be for Perfect Dark or Diddy Kong? No.
No, that's fair. Yeah, but you love both Diddy Kong and Perfect Dark with a vengeance.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
That's
probably my rare perfect trifecta right there. It's like Banjo, Diddy Kong, Perfect Dark. God, I wish we could get all three.
Someday, maybe.
But there is a really, 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 really good version of Perfect Dark on Game Pass, the original one.
Right.
Cleaned up textures, smooth frame rate, modern control schemes.
Plus, there's a new Perfect Dark coming someday.
Someday.
I
mean, all right. So there were updates to other things. Switch Sports getting golf, Mario Battle League is getting Pauline and Diddy, yada yada yada. You didn't watch it, I don't think, but so it was already a long Nintendo Direct, right?
It was long as hell.
And there's a moment in the middle of this Direct where they cut to fucking Miyamoto, right? And he gives these brief updates of like Mario movies coming along. He didn't show a trailer, surprising me. He talks about how there's going to be a Nintendo Land in Hollywood. That's coming, but they didn't really show anything about it. It's a small version of Japan's. But then he spent a good what felt like an eternity, like 5 to 10 minutes, talking about Pikmin Go or whatever the Pikmin game is on mobile, the Niantic one. Mm-hmm. This game came out a year ago. Has been around for a whole fucking year. And he spent a whole 5 to 10 minutes of this Nintendo Direct trying to sell people on the idea of this Pikmin mobile game.
So it's not doing well.
Because it's not doing well. And this is the only fucking franchise that this man cares about any longer, is his fucking beloved Pikmin.
Which there is now a Pikmin 4 coming.
Which, thank God he ended that segment, because I was like, oh my God, are we really going to do this, Miyamoto? Are you going to spend 10 minutes of the fucking Direct talking about fucking Pikmin Go on mobile just because you're fucking bitter that people didn't download it because it's not Pokemon and nobody gives a fuck about Pikmin?
Yeah, somebody explain to me what a Pikmin is. Huh?
No, but
doesn't say Pikmin, and it doesn't shoot lightning out of its ass.
He saves himself, kind of, because he then announces Pikmin 4 officially, finally, with a 35-second fucking trailer, and says it's coming next year.
Which it doesn't show anything, right? It's just
no, not at all.
Plants and shit.
Keep in mind, 7 years ago at E3 in 2015, he said there is a Pikmin 4 in development. It is almost finished and complete. We'll be releasing it soon. He said that 7
Holy shit.
Fucking years ago.
It's gonna be photorealistic Pikmin for your nightmare fuel.
So I mean, I'm happy that the Pikmin fans out in the world, who you are, Arlo, are finally getting their Pikmin 4. I'm actually happy for them because I got what I wanted. I got what I wanted in July. I'm still playing that fucking game. I only just started to come to the end of it. But yeah, I'm happy they got it. But like, damn, Miyamoto, that took a long fucking time. That's a long time for
now.
7 years from when the game is nearly done.
Yeah, he wanted it to be Perfect.
Another year. Jesus Christ.
It's going to be insane. Before we talk about the thing that we have to talk about because it's the most exciting thing.
Yeah, Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe.
Correct. I was going to do the same goddamn thing. Same brain. You know what I was sort of shocked that I was sort of like, oh, that's cool, is Lego Brick Tales.
Yeah, the first Lego game that actually shows you building with Legos.
Yeah, I was... part of me was kind of like, oh, it's a tabletop trend. Like, now they're digitizing tabletop experiences. And part of me is like, yeah, okay, like, I'm kind of down with that. Because, you know, Legos are so goddamn expensive. I guess this game's going to, have to cost $300 just to match the prices? Or it's going to be a $50 or $60 game, but then every expansion for new, like, sets of Legos costs $50 or $60 too. Because Legos are so fucking expensive.
Yup. They are like shockingly expensive.
And for those of us who can't afford it, there'll be like a Lincoln Logs freebie that they give out.
Does anyone know what a Lincoln Log is anymore?
Man, I fucking hope so.
I've played with them all the time.
This birthday, I outlived Jesus, so I guess, you know, I'm old now. I'm officially old. I can't pretend to be young. But that was my like surprising. Oh my god, that's okay, cool.
It's honestly, I mean, I was like, hey, I was just impressed. There's a game where you actually build Legos.
Yeah.
But yeah, like just brushing up. Like, yes, there's a bunch of farming stuff. You know, Story of Seasons, A Wonderful Life, which is Harvest Moon, A Wonderful Life, gets a remake. Only in this one, apparently, you can be non-binary and you can marry anyone of any gender. So suck it, haters there. You know, J.K. Rowling is going to start a petition against it or something. I don't know. Rune Factory 3 special. Yeah, like you said, Tales of Symphonia remake. They've officially decided they're going to release Resident Evil 7, 8, and 2 and 3 remakes on Cloud
Games. Yeah.
Cloud Games for the Switch. And they have a demo, which I'm going to try out for Resident Evil 8.
I don't know how that's going to go. Well, I guess it might be okay.
That's what I'm curious about. And then they even said the DLC for 8 will come to the cloud version too. That's cool. But, you know, again, it's sort of like a Band-Aid on the problem that, like, this system is fucking old.
Right.
Desperate Need. Harvestella is getting a demo too. What was in the Japanese Direct, here's a crazy one that you probably missed, Andrew. The Japanese Direct had it. The English Direct did not. There's a game coming out by Clap Hands, who make Hot Shots Golf.
Clap Hands?
Yeah, so...
I just love that name, Clap Hands. DJ Clap Your Hands? B. Lou Berry?
It's got some weird-ass name.
If anybody is picking up on the references I just made, you're cool.
So there's a game that came out today, like on the Switch eShop, by the people who make Hot Shots Golf. And it looks just like Hot Shots Golf, called Easy Come, Easy Golf. And it's online. So
That's
if you love...
awful name.
I'm right. But if you love Hot Shots Golf... if you love Hot Shots Golf, it's on the Switch now, literally in every way, shape, and form, but named called Easy Come, Easy Golf.
That upsets me.
$20.
Easy Come, Easy Golf.
Yeah.
Why would they do that?
Apparently, in some other countries, it's just called Clap Hands Golf.
That is a much cooler name. All right, let's do it. Let's talk about it.
Kirby's getting Return to Dreamland Deluxe. That was a great game on the Wii.
You were
I'm actually happy to see it. Hey, it's a great game. Some people are getting mad because HAL Laboratories keeps pumping out Kirby games after Kirby game. And they're like, how come Nintendo doesn't spread the love to other franchises? I'm like, because no one at Nintendo wants to do other games. Except Miyamoto. He wants to do Pikmin 4.
It's Pikmin and Kirby. It's just a pink fleshy ball and some weird flower kids.
Look, the 60s were a great time for some of the old guard at Nintendo.
So his memory's starting to go. It's the fresh memories first, so all he remembers is the 60s. Breath of the Wild. Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, it is no longer Breath of the Wild. It is now Tears of the Kingdom. And the most fucked up thing I've heard in my life was when this got announced, someone on Twitter was like, "Oh, so this is why they didn't broadcast the name this direct in the UK."
Right. Yeah, I saw that.
Oh.
I misread it, by the way. The first time that I saw it, I was like, "Oh, Tears of the Kingdom. What's torn?" It took me like a solid few seconds where I was like, "Nah, yeah, I'm an idiot." It's Tears.
Tears of the Kingdom. And they showed practically nothing of the game. They got a release date. Hey, it's coming out in May 12th.
You can base jump. Link looks cool.
And you can base jump. And it definitely looks like a very, rearranged, or, it's the same Hyrule map on the bottom, but definitely some changes have been made to it. And then a lot of chunks of land are now in the sky.
Word sword.
I'll be 100% honest. It's hard for me to feel anything that I haven't already said because, again, the trailer.
It wasn't a lot. Yeah, it was.
The trailer was like it spent a long time just looking at this fucking mural, right? So you could dig shit out of that mural, I guess. Whatever. I don't give a shit about Zelda's story anymore. And then literally like less than a minute of quote unquote gameplay. It's just basically Link runs, he jumps, he dives from the sky, he goes up the sky on a rock.
Climbing is going to be big again, yeah.
He climbs a route, he falls some more, he lands on some weird fucking metal thing. Logo.
Bird glider. Yeah, I mean, I think the most exciting part of this isn't even any of that. It's the fact that there's a release date. They gave a release date.
That is the most exciting part, for sure.
May 12th.
There is the weird part about this whole thing that I agree with, where people were like, because Nintendo straight up said, someone in Nintendo America was like, we haven't revealed the title yet because it'll be too spoilery for the gameplay. I'm like, really? Are you sure about that? Like, what exactly was spoiled here in the gameplay? Tears of the Kingdom? But it's hard to complain when you got a title, you got a release date, a day and date, like a hard date actually.
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool.
8 more months though. I was expecting when they finally did give a date for it to be closer. As kind of like a big dick move where they'd be like, 2 months,
I'm telling you, something fucking happened to this game, and it wasn't just COVID.
That's fair. Something went wrong.
Something went wrong. My guess, and from what I've even heard, is that it's actually the fucking hardware.
Well, yeah, I don't think anybody's shocked by that.
It is the hardware of the system and the things they want to do in the game, and it is not really running great, and it's not having a good time.
I like the Switch. I don't really want to shit on the Switch at all because I like the concept and stuff like that, but I don't think there's anybody that can defend how old the hardware is now. Like, it's old. Yeah, I don't think anyone's trying either. I don't think there's anyone out there that's kind of like screaming.
At this point, it's pretty much just kind of like the defense of it is like, it doesn't bother me. Gameplay over graphics. That's basically all you have left at this point.
Right.
I guess whatever. Some people have speculated, and maybe I don't know how you feel about this, but like some people have speculated that the reason it's so far away is because it's launching with a new hardware upgrade.
We would have heard something by now.
I think, I'm with you on that, and I'm like, May's an odd time. I mean, they could do it. It's Nintendo. Who knows, right? But, like, May's not usually when they release new hardware.
When did they release the Switch? I thought that was also...
March.
Oh, March.
Like March 3rd.
Which was much earlier.
Which is still at the end of the last fiscal year. So May is, like, first quarter of the next fiscal year. It's possible. Some people have said, like, well, Nikkei newspaper was like, there will be no new Switch hardware this fiscal year. And they're like, well, now this game's in May. That's next fiscal year. Maybe it could happen.
Oh, that's a reach, though. People are reaching.
I think so, too.
They're being clever.
Everything I've heard doesn't line up Um, even in the best case scenario, um, there will be an upgrade path, just like there is for PS4 to PS5 games. Later, not now, later. Maybe end of next year, maybe the year after. But I think best case scenario is that like there is a better running version of Breath of the Wild, or I'm sorry, Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, it's going to be hard not to call it Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom.
Tears
Genuinely going to be hard. That's what I did.
Tears of the Asshole, as Max has already dubbed it.
Tears of the Asshole. I'm
like Tears of the Switch's gaping, ripped apart, open asshole. As it struggles to run this fucking game.
Speaking, all right, and that's sad, and we're ending a little bit on a sad note of the Switch.
You know what? I'm glad Nintendo gave us a day and date and a name for the title. I really wish they gave us more, but I think they're saving that for early spring next year. There's going to be a big blowout direct focused squarely on Tears of the Kingdom. Big blowout direct, and then they're just not going to talk about it now because there's a bunch of games between now and then that they still have to release, and there's going to be at least another big direct in February. And honestly, like, you know, I need to know about my big Xenoblade 3 story expansion. You know, like we have to get that. I mean, it'll come out after, but you know, I still need to know about it, which is important. So
you and the 6 other people who give a shit.
Bullshit. This is the best-selling Xenoblade game ever. It's going.
Oh, I'm sorry. You and the 10 other people who give a shit.
It's doing gangbusters. Dude, it hit top 5 last month.
I know. I don't care about it. It's anime bullshit.
No, it's good anime bullshit though. I'm not gonna say it's not. I'm not gonna tell you it's not anime bullshit because sure, but it's good anime bullshit.
No, it's all. I mean, I'm only kidding. It's all. Everything's anime bullshit these days.
This is good anime bullshit. Not bad anime bullshit.
All right, let's round out the episode talking about the 20-minute state of play.
Okay, so Tekken 8 got announced, just kind of like, oh,
obviously top of the list, right? Yeah, that I don't think I was expecting that. Usually we know shit like that's coming. Usually we know shit like that's coming.
We got that little what is it tease at EVO where it's just a character model like of Kazuya like looking like turning to the camera and it just says get ready.
Right.
And it's like, oh shit, they're gonna make Tekken 8, you know? But that implied that, oh, there's nothing to show. This game is so early, whatever. We'll hear about it like maybe next year. Like it's far away, right?
Right.
Because they didn't even say it was Tekken 8. They just said, hey, people just saw a new character render of Kazuya and were like, oh, what's that? Get ready. Okay.
We were not ready. Nobody got ready.
It's like, well, I'm like, obviously it's Tekken 8, but you know, we just thought this is far, far away. We're not going to hear about this for a whole nother year. Nope. Namco's like, try a month.
Well, don't ask them for shit.
Looks really good. I think it's running on Unreal 5.
Yeah, so was that in-engine like gameplay, yes, or was that CGI?
Yeah, like there was a blog that Harada talked about, and he's like, no, this is in game.
Ooh, that looks good.
So he was like, usually we've done CG to always, you know, intro or promote something, but it's like this one is actually an engine with, you know, it's Unreal. I don't know if he said it was Unreal. It looks like Unreal 5. It's probably Unreal 5. Let's just say it's probably Unreal 5, and yeah, it's basically just showing off. They're like, oh, look how crazy it is. We didn't even have to animate the rain. Like it's all part of like, you know, a physics-based renderer thing where it's like it hits, the rain falls down and hits and runs off them kind of thing. He's basically a whole blog post on Sony PlayStation blog where Harada was talking about how impressed he was with just how the game looks like during gameplay.
It does look good. I like something that we don't really talk a lot about, or that I don't really see a lot of people talk about is lighting has improved so greatly in games. Like the lighting in that trailer,
is funny because it almost exactly makes your point when the follow-up game after that was like some Galaxy's Edge VR game and the lighting looks like shit.
And it just looks like shit. Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. Star Wars VR or whatever the fuck. Although right after, I don't know if it was right after that, Pacific Drive, which was like a Ghostbusters Days Gone looking
was intrigued by that. I don't know
I
about
was, too, but I didn't. I sort of thought it was going to be a Ghostbusters game, like
So did I.
that
We were all like,
fucking
"Oh, it's a
car.
Ghostbusters game. You're gonna play as the one actor who passed away. You know, it's gonna be
Right.
like before Afterlife, right? Like between
Harold
2 and 3.
Ramis.
Yeah, Harold
Of
Ramis. I'm like,
Ramis.
is it gonna be like a Harold Ramis? And apparently, no. It's just a spooky game, but it's a driving game.
Yeah, well, you get out of your car. It looks like you get out of your car some, but like you're hunting
Yeah.
down. I don't know. It looked good. I
Well,
don't
it's like
know.
you have like this. Yeah, obviously your car has different customization things and things you attach to it, and I am intrigued by the idea of a spooky driving game.
Right. Yeah, same. I don't
Very
know.
cool. I mean that's the kind of like new IP shit that actually is really exciting to me. Is like I didn't know about this, I had never heard about this, and then it's like it's nothing I ever even thought of before. But let me just put this thought in your mind: driving, survival, horror, spooky. Whoa!
Yeah, no, it makes you kind of wonder how are they going to scare me while I'm driving in a I don't
I mean, I
know.
think
It's
it could
intriguing.
be
I like
done
it.
though.
Oh, sure. Fuck yeah, it could. Yeah, no, I mean, think about how easy you are to scare when you're driving. Like, and people react so like over the top when driving. That's one of the reasons why accidents are so bad. Is like people get
Yeah.
startled and overreact.
Mhm.
People, I'm people. Everybody's people. But I thought that was pretty cool. I also had a thought the Sin Duality game where I was just kind of like, are mechs still cool? Yes. Yes,
Yes,
they are.
Max. Well, I was looking at it first and I was like, is this Weeb Stranding? Like initially. But then there's a lot
Weebenfall?
more yeah, well, but there's a lot more gameplay action shit going on there. So yeah, Weeb Stranding, but it's actually a mech game. Could be fun. Namco's doing it.
Huh.
Uh Definitely sounds like one of their like Scarlet Nexus style projects.
Well,
You know.
I do have to say that I found it sort of intriguing that normally you're a pilot with like a mech following you over your shoulder, like a little flowy drone thing. Instead, now you're a mech with with a ghost.
Yeah, or I think she's AI or something.
Right. Yeah, it's just it's interesting. I every time there's a mech game, you always have to deal with people who are kind of like it makes no sense. Mechs are they're not cost effective or they make no sense in
Yeah, the
universe.
physics don't add up. Yada
It's just
yada.
like you could have an army of 1,000 dudes with rifles that powerful for one mech, and it's like, and I have to come back to this one very strong argument. Shut the fuck up.
Ben,
It's
shut
cool.
the fuck up.
It's cool as hell.
Are you talking about like when Ben Affleck was talking to Michael Bay on the set of Armageddon?
Yeah, yes. It's sort of like just shut the fuck up.
Ben, shut the fuck up.
It's just a very like I know it's dumb. I know the mechs make no sense, but Pacific Rim kicked ass, all right? Gundam kicks ass. Power Rangers sort of kicks ass.
So for anyone who doesn't know, the story basically goes some point during filming of Armageddon, Ben Affleck went to Michael Bay on set and like, hey, this doesn't really make sense. Why are they sending the oil drillers up into space to do this? Why don't they just have them train the astronauts how to drill it? Because that seems like the way smarter, more cost effective way to. And then Michael Bay just looks at him and goes, Ben, shut the fuck up.
So on if you can find an Armageddon commentary track, Ben Affleck's clearly drunk and talking mad shit about the movie the whole time. And in it, he tells the story where he's just like, it's the scene where Bruce Willis is saying, I need my guys, my team, you know? And he was all like, yeah, because you're going to take a bunch of oil drillers and oil well guys and teach them to be astronauts rather than teach astronauts how to use a drill. Now, it should be said that oil riggers and stuff like that, most of them are engineers. Like they're not stupid people. But
Yeah.
it is sort of funny because it's like astronauts literally, to be an astronaut, you have to be the best and brightest, both physically and mentally. Like you have to be top of the game. You have to dedicate your whole life to being at the physical and mental peak of your. Yeah, they're the ones that are going to be like, yeah, I can operate a drill, asshole. They already do. Like they already operate drills. Yeah, it's like they already have geologists that do that. But yeah, so he tells that whole story and he goes, anyway, I said that to Michael, and Michael just looked at me and said, Ben, shut the fuck up. So I did. But it's a great commentary track because one, you learn that even at that age, Ben Affleck knew quite a bit about making movies. But you could also tell he was really frustrated just in general with Hollywood, with like the Hollywood system. Then you had Project Eve. So
Which no longer Project Eve, it's now
Stellar Blade.
Stellar Blade.
It's Bayo Revengeance, right?
So this is a Korean game. It's now, well, as we learned, it's a console exclusive for PlayStation 5. It looks nice.
It does.
But it's one of those things where I have to tell people, like, this does look good, and it's intriguing, but as with all action games, you don't really know if it is good until you put it in your hands, and you can, okay, how does the button response timing, how does everything feel?
Right.
What does the game feel? So it looks good, it looks promising, but I can't sit here and say, like, this is going to be the next this or that until I have it in my hands. When Capcom, internal Capcom comes out and says, we're making Devil May Cry 6, you don't have to worry about that. When you see Bayonetta 3, I don't have to worry about that. When I see Project Stella by this company called Shift Up in South Korea, it's like, actually, I don't even know why. Well, I don't know. The South Korea part has nothing to do with it. It's just, I don't know this developer. I hope the game feel is good. And maybe it is. And if it is, awesome. If it's not, then that kind of sucks. Basically, what I'm saying is I want a demo.
Right, yeah. Part of me feels like a lot of these games, like how I was saying, they seem behind the trend. I don't want to say uninspired because I don't actually mean something so harsh as uninspired. But it is hard not to see a game like this and immediately go, yeah, it's Bayonetta knockoff. One, that might just be because I don't necessarily pay a lot of attention to every action game coming. So this could be totally unique, and I just don't know. But I do think one thing that's really cool about it is the animations. Like, all the different animation was cool as hell.
Fantastic.
Like,
it looks
top
really
notch.
good.
Yeah.
It looks
I just don't know if I don't
really good.
Yeah, I don't know if the concept is it doesn't blow me away, but
it's a little vague right now, and it's like I guess it's like futuristic and post-apocalyptic, where it's like it's post-apocalyptic where the apocalypse happened a long time after, in the future. Like, we go into the future and then the post, because everything's very techno heavy.
Right.
Like the technology that does exist is way beyond anything we have. I was just laughing a lot at the character design, where like the guy is like this very practical, grounded, like, reality driven, futuristic clothing, but like also like my post-apocalyptic futuristic wear. And then the chick is running around in just nothing but the artist barely disguised fetish. Right. She's got a lace choker on with like a little like digital thing, and then she's got like this frilly things around her shoulders. She's got a tie. She has a bow tie thing, but at the same time, she's also wearing
bikini
this
top
skin tight battle suit thing. Camera's constantly showing her like her ass bent over. I'm like,
yeah. Mans is a pervert.
I mean, it's so obvious what's going, because even like the side chick is running around with like split crop size, she's got boob jiggle on and everything. It's just like,
yeah, the boob jiggle was pretty over the top with her. Like, she leaned over a railing and her boobs were just like, oh my god, there's a gust of wind.
So do they just attach like Jello pudding cups to like some dude in a mocap suit and just like go from there?
I don't, here's the
thing. Stick a mocap dot on it.
A lot of people are calling that stuff out lately, and I just want to say, I appreciate it. I'm okay with it. I'm not enjoying it.
Well, I'm not saying it needs to go away. I'm just pointing it out and laughing. Like,
I advocate pretty strongly also, though, for dick physics. Conan Exiles killed it.
Yes, absolutely.
I
mean, look, they had
fighting naked should be uncomfortable. Your dick slapping up against your belly button.
Back in the Nintendo Direct, they said that swimsuits are coming to Xenoblade 3, and what they show front and center was the dude. sitting there
Nice.
with his fucking shredded abs. You know, so
And your dick can only get so wrecked.
everyone in Xenoblade gets swimsuits, but like it's funny, the muscle builders, the bodybuilders are getting wetsuits, both the girl and the guy, and
How dare they?
yeah.
All right, so then we got Rise of the Ronin.
I
Basically,
actually was
Team Ninja's Ghost of Tsushima.
Team Ninja presents Ghost of Tsushima.
I
right?
like the time period, though.
Well, did you notice that the Yakuza game Ishin, or called as it's called, Like a Dragon Ishin, which also got announced?
I forgot about that game.
They take place within 5 years of each other.
Oh, weird.
Like Like a Dragon Ishin takes place in 1867. This is 1863 in Rise of the Ronin. I just got this huge fucking chuckle when they talked about the black ships arrived, and there's this big fucking like anime video game Matthew Perry, like,
right? Yeah.
smoking a cigar, looking all like antagonistic and shit. And I was just like,
well, there's like something about Matthew Perry talking about. I guess apparently he met Kenshin Himura or something.
yeah.
And like he literally talks about being 6 foot tall because he was a 6 foot tall brick shithouse. Matthew Perry was a big fucking dude, and he was just like, and then he made eye contact with this little red haired dude, and he just kind of was weird as fuck. This guy was mad dogging me the whole time. It's like, yeah, you're the biggest motherfucker there, and he wants to be famous. He wants to cut you in half, sir. Yeah, no, I thought that was a pretty interesting time period, and I don't know, is Matthew Perry going to be like a villain, or is that why they're the black ships? Like, is it going to have like is there going to be like a supernatural thing to it, or is it going to be purely historical?
So, because I feel like because it's Team Ninja, it's going to be like Neo, where it's like it has historical figures like William not Wallace.
Fuck it, yeah, William Wallace in there too.
Not William Wallace, William whatever it was, the Dutch guy, and then they had the UN at the end of Neo 1. You end up going briefly to Europe, and you fight John Dee in his tower,
wow,
the alchemist. So I'm expecting there to be supernatural elements in the game, but I don't think it's going to come from. I don't think it's going to come from Matthew Perry. The one thing I did say is like there's a lot of like big European architecture built in Japan, like in the I don't know what city they're particularly going with here.
Well, it looked like they had like an American embassy.
Yeah, like a big American embassy. There's a bunch of American buildings. I'm like, I don't think there was that much American architecture built up, like especially made of brick in Japan in 18. Maybe I'm wrong, but like part of me feels like I don't think it was quite this widespread.
I don't know for sure, but I do remember embassies and like the quarters that were built around the embassies. For instance, like in Morocco, for instance, I obviously nowhere near the same culture, but like you have like your Portuguese quarter, you had your American quarter, and the architecture was because it was built by those respective people.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe it's just the part of the trailer makes it look like it's a big city built, like a big European city in the in the middle of Japan in 1860s. But it may just be like a tiny section or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's intriguing, anyways. From it, just sort of like
it's not going to be historically accurate. Is what we're getting at.
Oh God, no! Oh God, no! Also, they're using an American flag that I don't think was in use.
Nope.
In 1867.
Sure weren't.
Just kind of pointing because you see that when the eagle flies right by it in the beginning of the trailer. I'm like,
right, and this one's 1863 or 1867.
This one's 1863.
So so Civil War still raging.
Yes.
Yeah, that weren't the right one.
Yeah, I don't. That's not the flag of, but whatever. Like that's really nitpicky or whatever. But
I don't know. I don't need it to be historically accurate.
No, but I do. I do enjoy seeing these fucking wild, over the top, caricatures of historical figures. I don't know. It's interesting and funny to me.
Oh no, that was the flag of that flag was being used in 1863, I guess.
Well, it's hard to tell because of how blurry it is. Like, I don't like because this number of stars changed as we kept adding states.
Yeah, there were different ones, but that was pretty much the.
And stripes as
There were
well.
35 stars in 1863.
Stripes and stars actually changed, but yeah. I don't know. It's fun. It'll be. I'm actually looking forward to this game, except when I saw the release date was 2024, and I was like, oh,
Yeah, it's forever away.
well, okay, whatever. Psh. I guess that brings up an interesting topic because again, the Like a Dragon Ishin is coming out in February, and Assassin's Creed announced they're finally going to Japan.
Which is
And
how you
now-
know that they're creatively bankrupt now.
Yes. And the word on the street is that they're actually having a lot of trouble hiring for that game because nobody wants to work for Ubisoft. Go figure.
Fair.
And now this is all pretenders to the fucking throne in my mind because Ghost of Tsushima 2 is going to happen eventually.
Oh, right. Yeah. What if it comes out like right before all this shit? Or right after?
Ghost is going to come like right after all this shit. I think well, I mean, Like a Dragon Ishin is coming out in February, but I think this game, even for this game in 24, and I don't know when that Assassin's Creed Japan game is supposed to come out, I think they're all trying to beat Ghost of Tsushima 2. I think they're all trying to get it out before that. Because that game sold very, very well, and
Right.
they know that once the Sony marketing machine goes in, like it's game over for anything that everything will look like a knockoff of that. So I think the idea was very intentional to announce these games now ahead of that game's announcement and try to get them out before that game. So that game looks like the copycat, or that game looks late to the party. Despite the fact that Ghost of Tsushima came out like 2 years ago. But
Well, here's hoping that Ghost of Tsushima 2 doesn't accidentally get overshadowed by being quote unquote samey as these games. Like hopefully nobody gets burned out on it, but I don't think anyone will because Samurai have been cool for 300 fucking years. Like we're still into that shit.
Yeah, especially if you're into the completely bullshit romanticized version of Samurai.
Yeah. Well, it's like the same people who are into the completely bullshit romanticized version of Knights.
Knights and Lords.
You know, it's like they're
kind of the same. It's funny how there's like a lot of there is a lot of similarities kind of like with Japan and mainland Asia and England, UK.
Well, feudalism is feudalism, bro.
Feudalism is feudalism. Yeah, I guess that's the best way to fucking put it.
But all right, let's wrap things up by talking about Ragnarok. And did anything about this Ragnarok announcement excite you?
I thought it was well done. I thought it was a well put together trailer.
It has a super badass line.
I like the look of the controller that I hate that fucking controller.
It's a cool looking custom
controller. I actually kind of want to see if I can get the controller just because I like the look of it. And if I have to get, and since my PS5 controller already fucking doesn't work, and I have to get a new one, might as well get that one, the cool looking one. Anyways, something I just want to say in general about God of War, both 2018 and Ragnarok. And I make fun of Bethesda games a lot. And I make fun of Western games a lot. But I want to really say that when given the, obviously like the care and budget and talent that Sony Santa Monica has, the animations in God of War and Ragnarok are fucking world class. Like honestly, like really, like
pretty great.
Yeah, like Naughty Dog is also pretty much at that level as far as animations go, because the animations are fucking incredible in Naughty Dog games. But yeah, this game, God of War, like the way it's the cinematography and way everything works, like it almost doesn't even look like a game. It almost looks like you're looking at a pre-rendered, pre-put together trailer. It looks like an Ubisoft bullshot trailer, but like real. But it's actually real gameplay.
Yeah.
There was only a couple moments where it seemed like there was like some hit stun where the characters like froze almost for too long in the air before swinging or hitting back or whatever. I think that was just sort of like done just to sort of emphasize hey, this is a big move or whatever. But yeah, the game looks phenomenal. Obviously, I think this game is going to be fucking great. It's going to be one of the best games of the year.
I think that I think we found game of the year though. I think it's gonna have fucking sweep because it's gonna have it's gonna have latest
So
bias
you
or
think
whatever.
recency
Recency
bias?
bias. That's right. Not only is it gonna have recency bias, but it is also going to be legitimately very good.
Oh yeah, I think this game is
So
going
I
to be
think it's
great.
gonna sweep.
I have very little doubt that this game will be excellent.
And then of course to end it with "Death Can Have Me When It Earns Me." That is that. Oh, yes.
Yep.
That's a cool fucking line, man.
There's
I have this theory that I'm gonna like. Everybody likes to think of like, oh, you fucking, I'm gonna have cool last words, like play me out, boys, and then fucking charge the enemy or something. And it's like, that, like, I know I'm gonna die by like slipping on a banana peel, and my last words are gonna be like, ah, fuck, and I'm gonna get hit by a truck or something. It's gonna, like, I'm not gonna have something cool. But if I could have something cool.
You're on a cliff that crumbles, and your last words are "she."
G.I. Joe. No, if I could have some like cool last words, like if I had like some prepared shit, there's not a lot that beats "Death Can Have Me When It Earns Me." That's pretty fucking cool. It's like the first guy who was like, "Only God can judge me," and like he went over to, and everybody else after that says that shit, but they're like giant wimps. You know a person is immediately more wimpy when they're like, "Only God can judge me." Oh man, you're weak. You're weak as shit. But the first guy who said that and then did some shit, probably pretty badass. Yeah. All right. Any final thoughts on either the Sony or the
Here's my final thought was I actually thought both of these directs had multiple interesting things. I thought they were both pretty good. I thought they both actually had some interesting things to look at. Like they weren't. I don't think anything was nothing mind blowing. Nothing.
No, right.
Truly.
But we've had some pretty good presentations lately.
Yeah, I'm like this is kind of
yeah.
I liked what I saw here. I mean, granted, it's funny because like God of War is an American game and they even though like they said this state of play was supposed to be focused on Japanese games because of TGS.
Right, but you got to have God of War in there.
But it is their big holiday title, right? So,
right.
I don't know. I think it's going to be great. I don't know. It probably won't be my personal game of the year, but I think it might be pretty damn close with God of War. Like, and again, I think it's going to reiterate when we get to it because we're getting to it very quickly here. When we get to our games of our best games of 2020, I think this is going to be a great fucking year for video games.
It is shaping up that way. I do think it is.
Yeah, I God of War is going to be like a fantastic. And Callisto Protocol is like after that, and if that game is good, if that game is Dead Space 1 levels of good, that's going to be a fucking fantastic, way to go out.
It's going to be a hard holiday season this year because there's legitimately some good games coming.
Yeah, there really are.
Closing out strong.
I thought they were both pretty good directs. I'm intrigued by a bunch of the stuff I saw from each of them. So
yeah,
I'm happy. Like
I still will say that it does seem like they're 2 years behind trend, but it was solid.
Oh yeah, you're seeing that because but like both, where it was like, oh here's a bunch of fucking farming, life games. And at Nintendo's, and then here's a bunch of fucking samurai games at Sony's shit. And that's not even talking about the big Sony samurai game that is being made in the background.
Right. Well, as always, we've got some patrons to thank, but please do me a favor if you're interested in watching Stars. I wrote and directed episode 2, plus I also give a monologue all about docking in it. You'll have to check that out. Head over to youtube.com/cosblade. Give it a like. Give it a comment, do all those YouTube things. I will greatly appreciate that. And our patrons for this episode or rather our producers for this episode are Scrunami, Kuroi35, HyperViper89, Ziggy Z, and Online Persona. Thank you, dudes, and we will catch you next time.
Later, dudes.